welcome everybody, another Conscious Momentum. And I like to remind everybody every time we start a new session, so that what is the goal? What are we looking for here? So, and then originally, the intent of this Conscious Momentum is to inspire the student to get back on their course, or if they are on their course, to motivate them. And one of the principles I'm all the time repeating, and then sometimes we may forget, it's like you do a little every day. And this is most of the time what is the best way to approach a program. Why? Because, you know, as I recommend to do at least half hour, an hour a day, so that you blend with your practice back and forth. It gives you the time to process information, to integrate information. And then also, you know, sometimes when you look at all the curriculum, you say, well, I never finish, but you know, it's like a journey. And I've done so many courses in the past where I was so busy with family and work and client. And so, and this is as I have acquired and done degree in homeopathy, natural medicine, acupuncture, and so on. So I will have this kind of discipline to do it every day. So, and then we are in America, you know, education, online education has many challenges. Many students sign up and sometimes they don't complete the course. Sometimes they sign up and they think, you know, there is no work to do. There is no, you know, study or concept to learn and repeat. Such thing doesn't exist. I have, again, I can refer to myself, you know, went to medical school and done many degree, but every time, every class, every concept, you know, I have to read books, read them again. Just to give you an idea, the Quantum Doctor book, I probably read 10 times. I done probably almost 50 hours, not even 100 hours recording with Dr. Amit Goswami. I had time with him, and still, even today, if I'm reading again the book, I will have insight about this concept of consciousness, the ground of everything. So, and then I see sometimes students, they go quick in the material, you know, they listen to class one time, they try to challenge the test, and now they cannot answer. But it's very important you do your homework before. In some way, you have to, in some way, really send the class. You have to go with the reading that are suggested. And it's like anything. And then there's one of my old teacher was saying, the mother of learning is repetition. So you have to repeat concept to create this brain circuit, and then you have to make them your own. And I see students sometimes they just want to go and get the degree and move quick in things, but you know, integration is important. And at the end of this journey, what will stay with you is how much awareness of this information you have integrate within. Studies has been done on medical doctor, you know, after the medical course, how much they remember of what they have studied the first year, the second year, microbiology, anatomy, physiology. There is a very little left. And most of the time what is left is what they learn when they go in the residency. And the residency is, you know, what the intern or the resident does is most of the time, you know, going with specialists, do the tour, the medical tour with the others, and then you have this little book and you copy recipes. And at the end of this process, the other studies has been done. So that's shown that medical doctor works probably for no more than 20 products. Can you believe that? Most of these product has been probably learned when they were working with specialists or other doctor and copying protocol. So at the end of the day, what is left, what has been integrated, you know, through a medical training is this kind of linear process where you attend to get a diagnostic. You want to frame a client, and the outcome is working with products, protocol that are liable, not that will cure, liable. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you know, the patient can die. You're not required to heal the patient. It's like if he die, You have follow a protocol that is match what is science in quotes, is teaching. So it's very limitative. Now you go to this journey where you start to integrate another concept, the concept of holistic, the concept of consciousness. You start to understand the reality of the client in a globality. You have to take in consideration so many factors, from family and also inner conflict. And then you have also to gather physical concept. You have to integrate way more information, and but human nature likes shortcuts. So many people that come to natural medicine, and I see coming now Julie on board. She will be our next guest for testimony. So, and then people think, oh, I can get this very easy. No, it's like you have to change the way you are processing information. So, and this is why when I speak in the course, it's like a two-leg process. You have to, at the same time, when you study, yes, go for a meditation technique or go for an art, or go for something that allow you to transcend things. So then when we start to speak about concept like consciousness or go beyond the mind with Dr. Joe Dispenza, you understand what we are speaking about. But now if you want to go straight to the exam, and most of the time students are stuck in the question, to this true or false question. And then instead to say, oh, maybe I didn't understand some concept, I didn't go some in depth, or I should re-listen the class. Now they start to argue the question, and so it's not the way to do it, because at the end of the day, what is left with you, it's your research, the information you have gathered, this information that you have, in some way engram and then as said, Dr. Goswami has integrated in a way that, you become a second personality, so that you will entrain and act when you are a practitioner. So this is very important. And this cannot be acquired without any kind of discipline. There is no shortcut, in a sense that sometimes I see a student or people going to the wellness and they just buy an equipment. And they think that the computer will do everything. The quantum biofeedback computer will understand everything, or this technique, or this new technology will do all the work. But there is not such thing. All these tools that you will use will just be a prolongation, an extension of how you think, of your own awareness, of your own capacity to grasp the complexity of a human being. So be patient and don't resist to read again a book, review some video online. There is so many that has been done recently, on consciousness, even that, and then join the quantum group, exchange with other students. I'm writing blog every 2 weeks, and I see maybe 1,000 people reading them. It should be all the students should read them. And then we're coming also with new video, new class to inspire you. So we are doing as much as possible on our side. But today I am turning the table around, and then I look at the student, and this is the reason of this program, is to give you trick, knowledge, attitude, so that will help you to understand more in depth. So and don't get hooked, because you cannot answer a question. So what I suggest is, when you really have a trouble for a question, you write the question, write at least a paragraph, how you think you understand that question, and then go back, in your reading, or you can post this to the mentor. But the mentor is not there to answer these questions. The mentor is to inspire and guide you in your research and your study of integration. But and maybe the question is not well written, so you can have a suggestion to replace that question. So let's be like working all together and be as more proactive as possible. So, and then today we have a very she's a dear student from Australia, and she came in Hawaii, I believe, at least twice for a Congress. And at that time, she was signed up, I believe, in the program Integrative Medicine. And then she has a very interesting journey. So Shelley, can we will be able to put her online? Is it?
Well, let me ask Elizabeth if she's ready, and if not, then I'll just do a little introduction while Elizabeth is getting.
Because I like to prep her before, but I want to be sure she would be online. Because
okay,
I saw her. Okay. I saw her joining the group now. She's in the class now.
Okay. Well, if she has already joined the class, then we'll ask her to unmute, and she can introduce herself or say hello.
Okay. So, and what is interesting about her, and this is, you know, fascinating, because all our students come from different paths and different journey, and then you never know what will come out, you know. But you know, I remember I had with her many conversations, and for her to set in course, and because she was very inspired with what she was already doing, and I don't know where this come from, but then she had the desire to go in the medical school. And recently, and I follow up her all the time on Facebook and see what she's achieved. And recently, she received an award, and she speak about it. And I like to her speaking about, you know, her journey, how she came in touch with the Quantum University, and why she went in medical school, and then she's still in this. You know, inspiration of integrative medicine, very interested in nutrition. So, so the word is yours now, Dr. March. Julie, can she speak now? Can you unmute her?
Well, you said you saw her on, did you? Because
yeah, I saw her. I think getting on board or we have her Skype too. I sent you her Skype.
Okay, sure. So maybe Elizabeth can.
But technically, you cannot do it from your place. Will be easier, no?
All you actually sent me, I just tried clicking on it, is her email.
She has a Skype address.
Yeah, that was a Skype address that I sent to you. But look, maybe I'll just resend it to Elizabeth, because.
Okay, just a second. No, but you need to manage this from where you are. Skype address is, her Skype address is harmonyclinic@gmail.com. That's not a Skype address, right?
No, that's not a Skype address. That's an email.
Yeah, that's why when I clicked on it, it just wanted to send an email.
Yeah, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. We'll get her on. But in the meanwhile, you know, what we can continue on. Dr. Paul, we had another testimonial, but what we could say is that many of the great philosophies began with the same practice of concentration. You know, this is the experience of focused attention that became so recognized through people like Eckhart Tolle. And so to know the difference between reality and illusion, you must look directly at it, right? You have to look at it, and you have to find it within yourself. This has been described by many great teachers using that analogy about the finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. I mean, Krishnamurti, Bruce Lee, you know, the Bodhidharma, they all wish to make the students see that the lesson, likewise, is just like a finger pointing in the direction of the moon. And so with our testimonials, we'll find that. And with everything that Dr. Paul began with in our introduction here, it's rather like the old Buddhist metaphor, you know, that doctrine or formal education is more like a transportation device. It's like the raft for crossing the river. When you've reached the opposite shore, you don't carry the raft on your back, but you leave it behind, right? Having arrived, you no longer need the transportation device. And so too, Dr. Paul has been sharing with you this insight, and he will continue to answer our questions like this. But this is the raft, or the proverbial finger he's talking about, pointing at the moon. So we'll just let his wisdom wash over us as inspiration and guidance, but listen as much to the consciousness expressing itself in the space of his words, or the space between his words, you know, through him, and try to notice which of your own receptors are a match for the uptake of this information, this is where it's more important, because this will generate more energy, you'll have more capacity, more drive, more intensity and vitality by finding where is this a match for your own destiny and what is being invoked in you. So Dr. Paul, coming back to you, did you get a hold of her? Did you send
So she said, maybe you found her, Elizabeth. Yeah, but you have to do this. The Skype and email address are the same. So you just.
Okay, you know what? We could just send her also.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, great.
I got her.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Let's see. I think I got it here. Let's see. Share. And bam. Okay, can we all see her?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
So.
Hello. I can't see you though. Should I be seeing all of you? I can see Elizabeth.
You're stuck with me. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
sharing
but
this.
I see you. Actually, I am. I can see you, but you don't see me, right? I don't know. Maybe we
No,
send
I
her.
can't see
You.
That's okay. I can see the beautiful Elizabeth. I can hear
So we already introduced you. Can you repeat that, Elizabeth? Because maybe she understood better from you. So we introduced her, and we like to her to share her journey with Quantum University, and especially and when she joined the medical school, and recently she had an award. So we like to hear about that. So you know, I didn't speak with you maybe for 2 years, so I like to you know, refresh, you know, what you have done during these 2 years. Did she understand? Elizabeth, hello? I cannot hear her talking.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, but Shelley, you better have her directly, not go one to the others, you know, so I think it's better.
Elizabeth, what we need is for you to not be muted because she's speaking through your speaker. There we go. Now she can speak. Welcome again.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, beautiful. Okay. Thank you all. This is really beautiful to be here speaking with you again and connecting with you again. I've missed you all so much on this wonderful journey that keeps us moving through different schools and different learnings and different education. So I started with Quantum University, I think it was in 2015, and I found quantum through a friend, which was really beautiful. I've been observing quantum for 3 years before I actually enrolled, which then set me on that beautiful journey of learning the Bachelor of Holistic Health Sciences. And I also enrolled into the PhD, Doctor PhD program as well. And then, interestingly enough, the universe from quantum led me to going back and to actually joining with Griffith University on the Gold Coast, with my ideal goal is to become a GP and integrate natural medicine with what I've learned with Quantum University, also with the medical system as well, and really help people come back into their health and vitality and health, especially focusing on nutrition and gut health, because as we are aware, that seems to be the core of a lot of people's issues, is the misguidance and the misinformation that they get from the media, which then influences their food choices, which may not be the healthy options for them. Of course, that then decreases their health and vitality. So by educating people and being coming from a medical GP role, being able to influence a lot more people, that's my whole goal. And bringing them all back into health and vitality very easily with the shift in diet and food choices. So with Griffith University, so I've got a long road. There's quite a few different steps to actually get into the medical school itself. So I just completed my diploma in health sciences, and which I got the DUX award. And the DUX award is awarded to the student with the highest GPA through both campuses, so both Gold Coast campus and also Brisbane campus. So that was a great honour. I did certainly push myself,
Wow.
as you can all imagine, to make that happen. Giving up my clinic to be able to do that has really impacted my soul and the core essence of who I am. So I finally realised that I need to open my clinic back up again and get back into the energy that I was working with before, with all quantum's information that I had learned, and bringing that back in and really helping humanity again. I really feel this last year, I've been focused on meeting the goal of becoming a GP and getting into medical school, with the sacrifice, if I may say that, sacrifice of not doing what I know I should be doing, which is helping humanity. So I really felt, even though I'm exceeding on the academic level, I've really felt that that essence and the energy of who I am is being cut off a lot. So reopening my clinic and bringing back in a more of a balance. We talk about and help our clients come back into balance all the time. And I've just realized how out of balance I have been. So being able to bring that back in, it's a great lesson, I think, when you delve into these realms and you actually come back into, if you will, reality of what people actually go through and what clients struggle with. So here you are, the practitioner, advising them different ways to change their lifestyle and to help them, which they often find challenging because it is hard to find that balance sometimes. So by being in that and immersing yourself in that and finding that out of balance yourself, you actually have a lot more compassion and are able to help people from more of a practitioner point of view to help to try and bring it in, because you can actually understand exactly what the clients are going through. So that's really humbling and really beautiful. So with that academic degree now, or the academic award, I should say, that's just helping me move through to the next level of before I get into medical school. So I'm not quite in medical school yet. I've still got another 3 years of doing my bachelor in nutrition and dietetics before actually advancing into the medical school with my fingers crossed, as long as I meet all their requirements. So, and then coming through to GP. So it's quite a long trip, but my end goal is doing the GP and really implementing that integrative medicine. All health systems around the world, I feel, are struggling, and we need to make changes. This is the way that I can see we can make the change, by blending the information from Quantum University that we learn, and then also with the medical system, we can really help people heal on a real holistic view and a holistic way to really help them come back into health and vitality. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you understand when I'm speaking now? Thank you so much for sharing with us this experience. Because me, I done the other way around. I went medical school, and then afterward, I done the alternative one. And then, it's like you are acquiring the full spectrum, of healthcare, because diving in medical school, and you can see also. There is also a lot of information to master, and adding to the quantum. But I like you remember to the student, because sometimes they find the course, our curriculum, difficult, and but how easy it is, compared to what you're doing now, because you're doing the first step before you're on the pre-med now, and then you got this GP, and then I'm sure you have studied hours, and maybe I remember myself, I studied sometime, I didn't sleep some night, to be ready for the exam. And now you just read at the door then, and then later on is waiting for you residency and internship. So tell us a little bit about how easy is the path for Quantum University, a student of Quantum University, and the path you have to go through to achieve your goal now.
Oh, Quantum University is so easy. Extremely easy. And what I also found with Quantum, because that is where I started. So I actually started with kinesiology. I've got a degree in kinesiology as well. So I was already opened to energy. But with Quantum University, I loved every single course that I did. I loved the teachers and the lecturers that were giving that, and especially Dr. Paul's information, but everyone on the whole spectrum that really contributed to that, because the way that it is delivered in a much more holistic way. It's not, it's a gentle way. It's more combining energy and the knowledge together, whereas what I'm learning now is pure science, and which is fantastic as well, but there's no, I'm going to use the word heart space there. There's no ease and grace where it flows in. It's a constant bombarding with all that information so quickly. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes sense very well. I can relate to this very well. You know, yeah. But still, you know, the student in Quantum University has to do some homework, right? And then, you know, how important it is to have like a technique or something that, you know, they dwell with energy, you know, either meditation or an art on. So can you talk a little bit about this? Because you are also very, you are doing kinesiology before, you know, the sensing of what is consciousness, you know, the growth, the growth in awareness, you know, that part. Can you talk a little bit about it? Or
yes, and actually you just nailed the word that I was looking for. In what I'm learning now, there's no consciousness there. It's just scientific bombardment, whereas with the quantum, it is definitely that consciousness bringing. I think the most important thing with Quantum University is that you are really developing your own consciousness and your own level and your own personal growth as you're doing each course. So yes, you do have to do the study, and you do have to do the meditation and really bring that, because you're lifting up your own vibration. And when your own vibration lifts, your own personal growth is able to move through a lot quicker as well, and is enhanced. So the consciousness level that quantum shares is beautiful, not only for you to use as a practitioner, but also by you doing each course and by you developing your own conscious techniques and learning those with Quantum University and employing them and actually applying them to yourself. That really helps you to get up into the space where you can be this amazing practitioner for others and hold space for others, because that's what it's all about really, isn't it? It's just holding space, but you need to have that consciousness level to be able to get there, and the only way that you can do that is by practicing what you're getting taught and what Quantum University is sharing with you.
so we need to see you, and thank you very much for your you know, sharing this experience, but we like to see you, you know, in 2020. You know, we are putting together another Congress, so it's time for you to come back to the source, and we can talk and do more interview together, and you know, that would be interesting to see where you are in a year from now.
Yes, that is my plan, and I definitely need to come back to source. I have missed you all so much, more than you can imagine. Part of my life, and I can really feel that disconnection when I'm not with them. So to all the students there that are now enjoying Quantum University, know that they're impacting you on a lot more, many more levels than what you can even imagine. So I thank you.
Thank you so much.
Aloha.
Thank you. Bye.
So Elizabeth, if you can, yeah, thank you. And then you could even send her the link to if she wants to join us for the rest of the call, if you're inclined. You don't need to, but just the email perhaps. So Dr. Paul, did you have any more, did you want to follow up with everything that she had said there? Or
yeah, but you know, we need to move with the question now, but it's very interesting, you know, so it's another very exciting testimonial. We will bring the other one I prepared to from another medical doctor that joined the university just to get this concept of integrative medicine and consciousness. So the idea here is to show that, the people are coming from all paths, either medical, nurse, professionals in the healthcare, people in the wellness too. And at the end of the day, this will absolutely create a shift, because in some ways, the way to address the individual with consciousness is not necessarily there. The people that will carry this through the coaching and to trying to implement alternative medicine, because the doctor is already overwhelmed. And doing so, this will also refresh the healthcare, offer other solution, reduce costs, because they're all talking about reducing the cost of healthcare that is absolutely extraordinary. And then they say, oh, change the cost is change who pay the bill. But I can guarantee you, this is not the answer, because I come from Canada, universal healthcare, and then I'm here on the private. This is not how you reduce the costs of healthcare. You have to reduce the cost at the source, how medicine is practiced. So if you train an army, a legion of people that at the end of the day are just focusing on pharmacy and surgery, because in some way the scientific model is defined and based on that, it's not updated, then you at the end they are waiting at the door, and this is where the costs are not affordable anymore. So we have to change, and this is why we create a university. We have to restructure the curriculum. We have to add, to the linear vision of the human reality, this multidimensional model. And this is how we get the door open to other modality of healing. So, and then when you do so, then you create concurrence. It's like at the door, you don't have just two ways to heal. Now you have zillion approach that can help the individual. And also the power of healing is bringing it back to the client. So not the responsibility only on the teacher. So I said this so many times. So let's take the first question now. And
that's wonderful. Thank you very much. And so that restructuring and change really does lead into what our very first question is. I'll just read it and then you can respond to that. Here's the question. How do you interrupt habitual patterns such as responses from the subconscious belief systems on all the subtle levels that keep them in place? This is what includes, but is not exclusive to the subconscious domain. So how do you interrupt those subconscious habituated patterns?
This is a very interesting, very important question. We have part of our curriculum, as you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and we have integrate classes, and now we are refreshing these classes. This is because this is at the end of the day, where any client or people that has to deal with health issue, will face, because it's like, hey, I have to change habit, I have to change lifestyle, I have to reframe my way of thinking. And then, everybody goes sleep, and everybody during the night, the unconscious is, unleashed. And then in the morning, you wake up with all these, shadow waiting to devour you with your whole old habits and all. And this is where come different approach, where you have to in some way recreate, a new brain circuit, new behavior, new habits. And even people, they have this ha-ha moment, after they have this ha-ha moment, the shadow are waiting for them, like we'll say Carl Gustav Jung, to bring them back where they were. So, and Dr. Goswami described this as the manifestation. You remember the phase stage of creativity, unprocessing, the ha-ha moment, and then the manifestation. How you really install, how you really ingrain these new habits, this new behavior. This is at the first place why you got in this kind of trouble, or chronic disease or psychosomatic disease. So, and then, you know, when you look at the work of Dr. Goswami, he's not the only one, Dr. Hammer. And then, you know, also I've done courses called the New Quantum Medicine. So how you reframe that. So then this is where you have different school, you know, of approaching the problem. But one of the modern school that come with this consciousness movement is in some way go beyond the mind. In some way you create a new awareness. And then on a daily basis, you reinforce that. This is why, again, this is discipline, you know. You are in a place in your life, you know, you're beginner student, and then you want to change. You want to change your lifestyle. You want to have provide service to other people. You have to, in some way, there is some work to do to, you know, get the degree, get the information, get, you know, everything out there that will make you able to deliver this. So in other words, it's like, and this is where for me, the meditation. Why it comes the meditation? Because every day you can dive in this space of other, in this space of infinite, innate intelligence. You know, this is how people that meditate for a long time describe, you know, and then you come back from there with, you know, this new way to look at things. This is where you can engram with visualization, with meditation work, and this is what I have written in the class of Pro Consciousness Meditation. And to understand that, you have in some way to understand the energetic anatomy. And we will come soon with this new class now, Human Holistic Anatomy, where we start to scrutinize how energy works. And because this whole ancient system of healing already have mapped, you know, to Ayurvedic medicine, to Taoist medicine, and to acupuncture, they have mapped the energetic anatomy. And then through the meditation, you can access, you know, a center, like I described in the Taoist medicine class, you know, the quas and the marvelous vessel, when you can help this to, in some way, go more in depth to tap and restructure the biofield. So when you start to look at the Taoist medicine class, you start to understand the marvelous vessel, you start the atomic heart, and then how this is related to the organ, and what is all the emotional meaning associated with that. Then you start to work, you start to make this kind of work, and this is the way to get out of this. You know, when you have the subconscious taking over, it's like you're drowning in layers and layers of conflict and old memories, and you don't even know where it starts. You know, some people say, oh, may start another life or ancestor and so on. So it goes so deep. So if you start to you know, running after that, casting this, or you know, it's almost impossible, because you know it pops from everywhere. So but you just don't nurture that. You go at the core of your being. You go in a place of harmony where everything, the whole biofield is reset. And I described this in the Pro Consciousness Meditation. And then you just focus on that. Because if you start to focus on the trees and the leaves and all the crack in the trees and you know, it's endless. You know, you can lay on the psychoanalytic couch, you know, for years, and then be all the time at the same place. But when you go at the source, you know, then you start to feed this kind of sometimes negative energy. So and then you start to, and at the same time, mastering your mind. You start to be more aware of the conflict you can generate. You start to be more responsible, making choice about how you will feed your mind, because you know, you start your day, you can feed your mind with all these shadow and phantoms or whatever, or you can center the whole life, you know, the whole journey on the light, you know, on positive thing, on compassion, on love, and so on. So hopefully I answered that. You know, what?
Oh, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the course, you know, is of course, it's learning. information, but it's learning also about yourself. So wish you a nice journey. Do you want to comment something, Shelley?
No,
You want to say something?
that's a wonderful journey, and I think that we could dive a lot deeper into that, but I'll move on to our next question, which actually does come from the Taoist medicine. So the question reads, Lao Tzu says, knowing the male but keeping the female, one becomes a universal stream. Becoming a universal stream, one is not separated from eternal virtue. What does eternal virtue represent and mean?
You know, I would be pretentious if I understand all the aspect of this question, but I will react, you know, from what I could understand. You know, in Taoist medicine, you have the yin and the yang. So it's everything is about the kind of bridging both, unifying both energy, and even in the Chinese medicine, you have this logo. Everybody knows where you have the, you know, two dots and the white and the black. This is the yin and the yang. And in any spiritual tradition, you will have the mother and the father. You know, Christianity in some way all depend which church you belong, but they have faded a little bit the role of the mother. But now they have a resurrection of the mother, the earth mother, the Gaia, and because, you know, this is how it's designed, the whole universe. So, and then unifying these two within yourself, you know, harmonies, there's, of course, you know, and as I explained in the Taoist medicine, you know, this archetype of higher qualities, because again, all religion or spirituality, sometimes people say, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual or whatever, but they all aim at the same thing, you know, they aim at becoming a better human being, better man, a better woman, or so on. And then what this means at the end of the day, it has to do with archetype qualities like compassion, love, strength, so audacious, capacity of insight, capacity of creator. There is dozens of these archetype qualities. But then when you go and scrutinize Taoist medicine, these archetypal qualities, I also connected that the quartz, you know, are related to some energetic center that feed the meridian, that feed the organs. So in other words, when we speak about this, the movement of integration, of the movement of health, it's like a movement from the ego to the self. An ego where, you know, people are more in the mode of, you know, thinking just about the small me and self. You know, when you start to be more compassionate, you start to express more of this higher quality that I'm speaking the Taoist. So maybe this is what you refer in your sentence when you say, you know, unifying the mother, the father, then, you know, the blossoming of this virtue. And then you go in the Chinese, what was the very renowned philosopher Lao Tzu, who was, I'm not sure if this is the right name, but he built a culture on these virtue. So I hope that I answered the question.
You did, and it was a lovely fractal representation of the very first question as well, which I think is really beautiful expression of consciousness. Okay, so our next question here is regarding healing through interpretive movements. So this is a little bit lengthy, so just bear with me because I don't want to lose the context of the question. I'm just going to read you her whole paragraph. Here it goes. I feel the energy when I do Tai Chi movements, and I had this thought. What if I created something that includes everyone and combine into a dance with interpretive sounds through each movement to enhance the vibration and the frequency of energy to heal oneself and others by combining different spiritual beliefs and their movements with their correlated mantras or chants, the frequency that they pray or meditate with, to create a dance sequence which has a universal frequency to heal and re-energize. So not unlike yoga or Tai Chi, but for universal connection and oneness and frequency. And so this is one of our students who started doing some research and is putting together these kind of individual sequences. And I actually invited her to do a recording, which perhaps next Conscious Momentum will be able to share with you. But,
oh yeah, that's beautiful. It's like, you know, discovering a dance with the universe. You know, this is beautiful. And this is again expressing the individuality of every student. You know, what it's, you know, what you could discover is infinite. You know, and then she's exploring now the movement and the sound, and then the feeling of the energy. And you know, I said this previously class, you know, the first class in acupuncture, in Chinese medicine, that in the past, you know, a master would do, it was not like going with the needle. They would bring the student outside and they would start to do Tai Chi, just to be able to start to feel the movement of energy, you know. And now this is exactly what she's speaking about. You know, it's like she create some movement. She grow the awareness, the interconnectivity with, you know, with everybody, all this kind of spirituality. A dance like this is a prayer for the whole world every morning. You know, that's beautiful.
yes, rediscovering those ancient truths, those eternal truths. All right, our next question. Again, I'm going to read the whole thing so we don't lose the context. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This comes from a fellow, I won't even begin to tell you his background. Okay. I want to ask you about the fact and the situations in which all of us, oh no, this is from Catalina, I think this one. I want to ask you about the fact and the situations in which all of us are part of the whole. All of us are, with or without knowing or being conscious of it, contributing in one way or another to the progress and evolution of the people surrounding us. If we will educate present and next generations in that way, maybe we could implicate and make more responsible all humanity in projects we could develop together. As therapists, every person knocking at our door comes to us for one reason, being sent to know something that we ourselves have experienced or we know how to solve better. So it is our honor to serve and assist him or her in their journey, and we have to be full of recognition for being chosen in this favored position, you know, by grace of God or divinity or the universe.
Yeah, please join the Project Noosphere. This is what is Project Noosphere. You know, this is this awareness of interconnectivity and this global intention of heal yourself, heal others. And it's like to grow in an experience that is beyond the mind. The problem now is like we are caught in this division. You know, everybody is caught in the approaching, the world with a frame of a set of morals or a set of or categories created by the mind. And then we can see in America, you know, it's just going worse and worse because, you know, everyone pretend getting the truth. But you have to go beyond that. And then when you get in an experience of perspective, you see, it doesn't mean you don't have opinion, but at least you're aware that you are caught, you know, you are expressing something that is just relative. So yeah, we have to grow in this awareness, and I believe the next step in evolution, and this is not the only one to saying that, Dr. Goswami is saying the same thing, is this awakening to a greater awareness of collectivity, you know. And the Project Noosphere is there for that. You know, we invite you to join the Project Noosphere. It's just like, I'm sure I'm speaking to people that are probably already meditating, doing some energetic work. It's just to connect few minutes every day to the same intention, heal yourself, heal others, and build an egregor, you know, build a field of harmony, a field that, you know, is healing. So, and then we can grow with a collectivity that is just compassionate, that is linked with this core intention. And I'm sure, you know, they may come from all different culture and all different belief system and all, and they from all divine source of experience. But I believe that this is all connecting together. So is we grow that field, you know, more and more. So people will have a place to connect, reconnect, to redone their harmony, you know, reset their biofield.
Fantastic. And perhaps Elizabeth wouldn't mind putting the link to Project Noosphere in the chat. But I'm going to move on to our next question here, because again, this is another lengthy one, but I don't want to lose the meaning between the words here. So I'm going to read the entire thing. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and could be an idea for my thesis, something that came to me from having read Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza and thinking about Dr. Emoto's water experiments. I was wondering whether, given that an intention of love can affect the crystalline structure of water and the growth of plants, could one extrapolate that not all geometrically identical molecules are made energetically equal? So what he means by this is, would the molecule of an essential amino acid from quinoa, say, or leucine, that was grown naturally, organically, and watered by spring water, have the same properties as a molecule of leucine taken from, say, a factory farmed pig, right, in the form of pork or something like that? And so geometrically it would have the same structure, but could it fundamentally have different energetic properties? So we have Bruce Lipton, who talks about the cell membrane and providing the form or the information depending on the shape. But what he's asking is, even though it might have the same shape geometrically, would it have different energetic properties?
Yeah, and I believe some studies are already done on this, you know, because Lynn Mittergard in her book, The Power of Eight, you know, experiment has been done on growing plant at distance, healing at distance. We done some at the Quantum University where we were doing some healing intention and look at the blood. The blood is water, you know, and then you can see the structure of the blood changing with when the student was exposed to receiving some light energy. You know, yeah, absolutely. Now you have a lot of research, and you know, we're interested also to look at it with the spectral analysis. They are looking at the structure of the water, and then the water that can be exposed to different therapy, water that can be exposed to the intention at distance, water that is, you know, in a higher level of energy environment, and higher, and water that's, oh yeah, this is, it's already, you know, first, if you do a PhD, you know, you have to do a review of literature, and you would, in your review of literature, you will explore all these studies. And yes, go visit Dr. Joe Dispenza. He done a lot of work there. Emoto had done a lot of work, you know, and Dispenza, Lynn Mittergard also, you know, you just go in her book, she's full of projects. She's the queen of project intention. And then they have done a lot of study looking at the pH of the water, looking at the structure energetic of the water, spectral analysis. And research is going that way. There is no doubt about it. We cannot, but a PhD, you need to first select, you know, a specific subject. But before you do this, do your review of literature, and you will see all the device, all the technology that has been used to look at the water. You have to retain some that are more kind of scientific, that can be, you know, proving your hypothesis. But first do the review of literature, and then you will narrow down specifically what you want to demonstrate. And absolutely, that your PhD can be done on this. This is fascinating, you know. And then in the same line of thinking, we at Quantum University, we planning to do this kind of experiment too, you know, because now we're building this community online of people who meditate. And we done this in the past with Lynn Mittergard too, you know, looking at the brain waves. We have like a group of 7,000-8,000 people sending positive intention. And this study has been published in Lynn Mittergard, The Power of Eight. But we intend to redone this, you know, and because now we have other ways also to, in some way, enhance the quality of intention, enhance the power of meditation. Because we're working with subtle energy, we're working with the biofield. You have your own biofield. but collectively we have also in some way a biofield. And then when you meditate, if you project energy, you create also a magma of energy. And this is what we are looking at now. We're adding now the bioplasma technology, the Theraphi, to the meditation, and see if we can enhance this harmonious innate intelligence. So, and there's also many studies. Please contact Shelley, because if you have a PhD in that sense, we need a lot of people to be able to collect data and do research. And this is very interesting. This is very exciting. This is the future. This is the future.
This is very exciting. And just today, maybe yesterday, was released that picture of the black hole. I mean, it sounds like they just took a snapshot. It actually took 2 years of processing the data. But again, we have the perfect fractal, the holographic nature of our universe, or call it the electric nature of our universe. But it's pretty fascinating. When we keep getting the same information, when we keep seeing that, yes, we're on the right track, this is very exciting. So I'm going to move on to our next question. Our student says, I just finished quantum super learning in IQ 500, quantum homeopathy and homotoxicology. And it was a fantastic experience. I felt great about increasing my knowledge and feel thrilled and confident in my future as a healer. I really enjoy all the different components. It's hard to pick which field I would be best in when they all seem to ignite my soul and abilities. So this is really not so much a question, but just sharing with you. And we'd all love to have your feedback on that idea, you know, where there's so many possibilities open to her. She loves them all.
So thank you to share, you know, and it's all the time rewarding to hear this comment. The course of homeopathy we create on the curriculum, it was like kind of an integration of many schools of homeopathy. For someone who visit the homeopathy for the first time, most of the time, you know, you're walking in a universe that is already out there for 300-400 years, and you have many schools of thinking. And I try to, in some way, you know, make an overview of this, and then at the end, I'm also looking at application. So for me, it's very important because this poor homeopathy has been attacked, you know, from all the angles. You have countries where it's almost the official medicine. England, in India, for years, they have a tradition in homeopathy. And then, but in America, you know, beginning of the century, this was official medicine. But now, you know, it seems that, you know, the orthodox or the conventional medicine try to kind of shrink you know, the influence. And this is why, you know, when I design also the class, I add this notion of quantum physics, so that start to lay out the ground to understand how homeopathy works. Because the first thing, you know, when conventional doctors look at homeopathy, it's like, you know, there is nothing there, you drink water. They cannot understand this electronic signature of the remedy. They cannot understand this, the subtlety of what it is. And then plus, you know, they don't have no benefit to understand this, because in some way, it takes way more time to do homeopathy than do conventional medicine. So, and that was also a very important attempt when I designed the class, to start to kind of infiltrate the science of quantum physics, to say, hey, quantum physics is backing up this concept of infinitesimal, the small quantity of substance that can change actually the structure of water, the information. So quantum physics has this capacity to grasp, and this will be the video we will show in a few minutes, the idea of the uncertainty principle in quantum physics, how information can be carried on, you know, with substance when you dilute them, when you dynamize them. So, and homeopathy was probably one of the first to show this science, and then of course has been ridiculized and because not understood. It's like ignorant people looking at something that is in some way too subtle, looking at something in a perspective of Newtonian physics that you cannot grasp, the subtlety of energy. So yeah, this is the way this class has been done, and I'm redesigning the class. I'm also doing research with homeopathic products now that originally was, I think I talked a little bit about it. This is another challenge because in Canada, by example, some major homeopathic lab they have totally walk away because regulation was too strong, too difficult. So, and then there is some very resource of products that are not anymore available. So we done some research to be able to imprint using the technology of urine crown this information in some products that reproduce the homotoxicology concept. So I'm doing a lot of research on this now because it's very important. It's very important at the end of the day we have tools to work with clients, that can shift the biofield. You have technology that has the capacity to shift the biofield in some way non-specific. It's like you you work with bioplasma, but then you have also technology that are more pointu in French. We say they are more refined, that are more can target specific problem, and homeopathy is there for that. Homotoxicology is very strong, and in some way we have been able to reproduce this information with the lab of Dr. Yuri Crown Energy Tool, and now these products can be available to this lab. So it's not the place to talk about it, but in some way I like to just revise a little bit this course, how important it is, what was the aim of this course, how it touched also the concept of quantum physics, and how in clinic, we can still, repull this information in some tools that are very efficient.
Yes, absolutely. And all the homeopathy concepts are so important to understand because you can extrapolate that out and apply it to all areas of life. However, we have been our 1 hour, and I'm going to ask the last and final question, and then we'll move on to that short video that Dr. Paul was referring to. So this last question has to do with magnetics. It's a system. So we think of our body as electromagnetic. The question was specifically about the magnetics. It's a very intriguing research. The magnetic north and south pole are different aspects of one and the same system. It is presumed that the disappearance of either one of them would be the disappearance of our entire system. But our student is asking, or would it? Is it feasible to consider a monopole as equivalent, but just a different expression?
A monopole?
Monopole, like for example, the magnet.
Yeah, I don't have the answer for that. But we addressed the question of the magnetic field in one of our class called Integrative Healthcare. And there is also one class in our Congress with we speak about the pulse electromagnetic field with this what is his name? So because it's like some research show that there is a shift in the pole of the Earth, and I'm not the only one to speak about it. And then in some way to be able to maintain our energetic level, we need, because we are so bombarded with all these EMF and so on, we need to, and then you have the shift of the electromagnetic pulse. So in other words, to keep our health threshold, is very important. We pay attention of what we eat, the exercise. Of course, if you live in an environment that is more negative ions and nature and water, and so it's probably you can maintain this threshold of health. But then if not, then PMF can help that. So, but your question is about monopole. I don't know. I don't know if this question comes from these theories, but I believe more and more in the next decade, we will look at the energy of the body, and see that some environment are absolutely negative, and then people are more at risk when the electromagnetic field drop, and then if you don't have a technique of art or exercise or food, and then we don't know now the 5G is coming, so how what will be the effect on health, because people that maintain their electromagnetic field. So electromagnetic field is one dimension of our reality. We have also, when we start to go in deeper in this layer, and this is the video that is coming now, we're speaking about the uncertainty principle of the meridians. So because we look at meridian in the previous class from the point of view of the Bungam circulation. Did I lose the connection now? I'm still on.
I'm not sure what happened there. Can you just maybe hit your back button or something?
No, I touched nothing.
No, it says that we're viewing Dorothy's screen. Dorothy, could you stop sharing, please? Dorothy Reese, you are sharing your screen. Elizabeth, are you able to manage the participants and stop that screen share?
But can you still hear me when I'm speaking?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So now I see the desktop now. I don't know who is.
That was somebody else.
Okay, we are back. So we spoke in the previous conscious momentum of the Bungam circulation, which is more like the local reality of the meridian. So when we start to study quantum physics and this holistic anatomy, we realize that we have many layers of information. When we speak about the vital, the mental, the supramental. But when we look at the meridians, you have, as you go deeper and at the level of what we call the informative level, now the quantum physics uncertainty principle apply, meaning that meridian doesn't have a location. Meridian are non-local. Meridian is more like a field of information. So what is the consequence of this? Some people say, oh, who care? Who care? Yeah, it's very important. When I went to medical school acupuncture in 20 years ago, I don't know if it's 20 years ago, I don't want to get older now, but, they were teaching acupuncture like, you have a network of pipe where you just plunge a needle and the whole magic happens. This is not how it works. When you start to understand the holistic anatomy, that this is information. So you are entangled with your client. And then what this means? That means if you're doing acupuncture, you are doing some kind of entangled energy transfer of information, and then the master acupuncture knew it because they will manipulate the needles, they will give a movement to the needle. They will work with gold and silver. And then of course, they knew the circuitry and the meaning related to the meridian. So when they do acupuncture, they also, they carry on this intention. And this is what we teach in my class of Taoist acupuncture. And I call that, by the way, consciousness acupuncture. Why? Because there is an awareness when you're doing this act of trying to, rectify the biofield. So, and then why I'm using crystal? Because crystal is probably the medium that is the most, that facilitate the most this transfer of information. So, and then you can give a movement. This is what I call the Omega technique of someone. When you give a movement, and then you relate this with the breathing. So these are all ancient technique of Taoists and meditation that empower the individual, the practitioner doing this kind of work. So so you will see this in this video now that we speak about the meridians. Yes, it's the local structure, it's non-local, but then we will have another class speaking about the biophotonic, like, network. It's like, you have the biophotons and then look like an optic, laser optic, fiber. But beyond that, now you have this field of information. This is where come the uncertainty principle. This is what Dr. Goswami speak about. So you understand, how your mind need to be, not to need, but in some way start to think in dimension. You're not just looking at a physical body. Now you're looking at the field. Now you're looking at biophonic activity network. You're looking at the Bungham, and then you try to, in some way, rebalance the biofield. And then you need to have this kind of awareness, understanding, that what you are doing. And this is what I call consciousness acupuncture. And so let's see this short video.
Oh, do you want me to stop this?
I'm already an fully trained for a British qualified surgeon practicing surgery.
No, you go to the other one, because we will do this one.
Okay, we'll do this one next time.
That was this. Julie has replaced that.
Okay, so that was your little sneak preview, everybody, of who will be doing a testimonial with us next time. Okay, so because I was set up to do, I had my computer set up to do that one. So just bear with me 1 second while I go and find, oh bother. That's a Pooh Bear quote, in case anybody didn't recognize it. I'm sorry.
My integrative medicine practice needs a scientific basis.
You do the other one?
Where it involves both cerebrals and mind medicine treatment.
So and just fast forward the whole thing.
This is Quantum University
teaching. Now he's talking.
And
I can't make him stop. Hang on.
And I also...
Okay. All right, so... There we go. All right. Okay, I'm going to find this one for you. The uncertainty principle. Okay, I have it. Now I just need to come back to sharing screen with you. Are you guys still sharing my screen, by the way? No? Okay, hang on 1 sec. I gotta... Oh, sorry, I was set up for the other video first. Really, it was set up to do like clockwork, but okay. All right, there you
The
are.
uncertainty principle and the meridians. From the perspective of the meridians, the flow of qi seems to have local behavior, which is classical and deterministic. But according to Dr. Amit Goswami, 2004, the energetic phenomena of the vital body are subject to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This means that qi and meridians have both a corpuscular and a wave nature. Actually, the channels do not follow exact paths due to the quantum nature of the vital body. According to Amit Goswami, 2004, it is impossible to describe their movements through exact trajectories. The uncertainty principle applied to acupoints of Taoist medicine brings the possibility of meridians being areas or fields and not points. The wave-like and corpuscular complementary aspects can be seen in the Chinese medical view and quantum physics approach. The wave fields that are presented in the vital body have a corpuscular counterpart. The morphogenetic fields are located in the vital body and are neither physical nor local, residing outside of space-time and providing the blueprints of physical organs that perform vital functions in space-time.
All right. So we should be back.
Yeah, the conclusion is yours, actually.
All right, well, I'll just remind you with what we started with. Okay. Let's see. Can you guys hear me, or is it still playing through the other speaker? Do you hear me? Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yes, you hear me? Okay. So all I wanted to say is just to wrap it up with what we began with. And remember that to see the moon, you must forget the pointing finger directing you and simply look at the moon, you know, where does that proverbial moon exist within you? That's the question. As one of my favorites, Alan Watts, once said, he said, I think this is enough medicine for tonight, so let's put the bottle away and go outside and look at the moon. So with that, we'll see you all on the next Conscious Momentum. Aloha.
Okay, bye, everybody. Aloha.